So today is Wednesday the 10th of June and it is currently 4 o'clock. However, I didn't astral project at 4 o'clock. I astral projected at around about 1 o'clock. It has taken me literally this long to make a video because down there, my brother was playing some terrible music and it was interfering with my video session. Yeah. So, I had to get up early this morning. It's around about 6 o'clock. This was a good thing because when I get up this early, what often happens is I have time in the afternoon, around about 2 or 1-ish, to astral project. So roughly 5 hours within my body type, my circadian rhythm, my sleeping patterns. If I get a decent night's sleep, I wake up early, 5 hours from there, I'm ready and I'm good to astral project. So I lay down and I do my thing. After a short while, I begin to be able to see through my eyelids, only to find myself losing the the orientation, the feeling that I'm laying on my back, and now I'm upright, sitting upright, along with me being able to now see through my eyelids in a climate which is not like Britain. It's much hotter. The smell of spices, the sound of different languages, the humid air, it's hot. It's like I'm on holiday, but it's not a place I'd tend to want to visit, not unless I really needed to. Nothing against the country, it's just it was like I was cramped into a small part of India which was incredibly busy, and I don't like busy places because this was like a market. If you've ever been to a market in Turkey, you know what I'm talking about. You know, you get people trying to sell you anything and everything, and I even got I even got followed once through Turkey through a market from a guy trying to sell me weed, and he followed me for a good like 40 minutes. Dude was creepy. I had to protect my little brother because at the time it looked like he was trying to pick us off, like he was waiting for us to split up or something stupid like that. But I found myself standing in a very, it was like the whole place was an alleyway, like a market, but you could stick out both arms and you could reach both sides of the market kind of thing, you know. And there were people laying down, well, not laying down, they were sitting down on the floor next to their stands. There were people standing up making sure they were selling things. Bright colors, like I said, the food looked great, it smelled amazing. And as I'm walking through these passageways of these streets, which look like I'm in India, I noticed that not many people can see me, but the ones that can see me wasn't behaving like the people in the market. Okay, it wasn't behaving the same. And as I'm walking, I'm being guided through these areas. Like every now and then, I'd come across a part of the, I guess I'm gonna call it a high street, even though it's really small. I would go past parts of the high street, and then I'd be taken underneath someone's stand, and it'd go over my head, and then I'd be taken to another part of the high street, right, where they're selling stuff. And then there'll be this woman dressed in grey, and she looked blind. She looked blind. She looked like she couldn't see anything, and she would point her arms and go, "Come this way." Now, the entire time I was having an urge to move. I didn't want to go this way. I didn't want to travel through these little locations, these little streets. But I was being pulled, like I was being summoned. And it felt like I was expected to go down here. And as I'm being taken through these hallways, always through these streetways, these passageways, I find myself going to a slightly larger place, which looked like someone had lived there. As I come through around the corner of the door, I can see a guy who looked like a yogi. You know, he had his legs crossed. He had like not boxers, you know, but he had something covering his genitals, and he looked kind of dirty, you know, like he didn't look homeless, because British people around here, when you see someone homeless, you can tell they're homeless. But he looked like somebody who would meditate a lot, like the shaman of the area. And he expected me. He didn't move his head. Did not move his head at this point in time when I was behind him walking into the room. He just knew I was there. His eyes were pure white. So he couldn't see his pupils or nothing. And I stood in front of him. And this is where it gets hard to remember. But I remembered it so clearly afterwards. I should have done it straight away, this video. He told me a riddle. And he was expecting me not to get it for a long time. And he wanted me to leave as soon as he told me the riddle. But, you know, I thought I was going to sit here. So I found myself a little stool in front of him to his right, which would be his left, actually, because I was standing in front. And I sat down against a pole, which was holding up, like, the tarp to keep him out of the sun. And I noticed there was this other kid there who was bald, who was also watching me. He was also, like, some sort of apprentice or a mentor. I started spitting out suggestions what this riddle could mean. The first things that came to my head, which I thought was it. He said, no, it's not it. And this, when he told me the thing he needed to tell me, the riddle, his eyes went back to normal and he was able to look at me and turn his head. The second time I guessed was wrong, and I was thinking to myself, oh great, if I get this wrong the next time, what's he going to do? Is he going to chuck me out and banish me or something? I thought, well, I'll give it one more shot, and I gave it another shot. I was wrong. And then I paused, and it was like it just popped into my head. And it went along something like this. I said to him, children, don't guide the children, don't help the children, but be there for all children, and you'll find yourself more on your path. And when I said those words with the understanding that it was different, the understanding that came behind it wasn't to help children. It wasn't necessarily to guide them. It was more like to be there for them. And it was like children of all ages, people of all mindsets that were like children. And he looked at me and smiled in surprise that I managed to get it so quick. Because it sounds complicated if you're not aware of what it was that I just said. But when I was saying it, it felt like I should expand the way I'm dealing with people of a childlike mentality, like a very young mentality, not childlike, young. Somebody who's not so mature, who are having all these problems, mental blockages, and who are stuck in the first chakra, which deals with survival and childhood traumas, and they're kind of coming up into the second chakra, but mainly the first. Because when you're stuck in the first chakra, what can happen is you can be stuck there for a long time. And it kind of, even noticing your body's growing, because your mindset's still stuck because of the blockages, you're mentally not actually maturing. You're staying like a childlike state, which is a problem. Because you need to be your own adult sometimes. Pretty much most of the time, you come to an age where you need to guide yourself and be in charge of your own life. And this guy told me that in the riddle, and I'd love to tell you guys the riddle because it sounded so awesome. Like it just sounded, who knows, maybe I'll remember it and put it in another video. Now it didn't end there. When he said that, 4 kids showed up out of the blue. They just materialized in front of me. Their eyes were completely white and they were getting pretty close. And I was thinking, okay, are they going to stop moving? But no, they got like right up in my face. Now I was sat down and they were about 3 feet high. They were quite short, youngsters, very small kids. Didn't mind much. They got so close that their energy made me black out. It wasn't a bad thing, I don't think. They were just sending me home because I ended up coming to over here in 3D, back in my body. After which I then proceeded to astral project again. My bed was over there on that end of the bed. I had a single bed this time instead of a double bed, which was weird. And I ended up bumping into an entity. I say an entity because I don't think it was an actual person. Even though the energy was familiar, when I closed my eyes in front of this individual and I tried to scan their consciousness, It was not reminiscent of one that existed within my own creation. Obviously, it was an astral projection. However, it did feel like they were hiding something, so I had a chat about certain things, certain extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings with this being, who posed as a member of somebody on YouTube, 13 Science Astrology, actually. I'm not sure if this was a future version of him. I'm not sure, because you know, astral project, like you see in my videos, and time gets really messed up. Like, really messed up. It's difficult to astral project here at a specific date. But who knows? It could have been him, could have not been him. He sounded like him. He smelled what I would assume like him. His entire energy, his being was like of this man that I've seen. Meh, maybe it was, maybe not. Back into my physical body and woke up after hearing my little brother's music playing at the end of my room, which was terrible, and thinking, great, I'm gonna have to wait to make this video and I'll probably forget what the riddle was that the man said. I hope this is good enough. That was my astral projection experience today, and I guess what to put out of this, to get out of this video, would be timing. If you're a early bloomer, if you wake up early, test yourself. Don't just give up on astral projection. You need to start using yourself as an experimental piece. Use the basics. If you don't want to book a consultation, if you don't want to astral project sooner than normal, if you want to take the long route like I did and start experimenting on yourself to find out how to do this, like take it piece by piece and really master the thing, you need to be incredibly patient, because it could take years to master yourself. It took me like 4 years to master myself. Doesn't mean I wasn't astral projecting during those 4 years. It just means it took longer than expected. And then I started, because I'm well equipped with my mental consciousness, I'm able to notice these things in other people and fix it really quickly. But if you're gonna start experimenting, be basic. Astral projecting, you need to be aware. Your body needs to be asleep. What are you doing now when you're aware? Yeah? What are you doing when you're asleep? How's your mindset? How can you mix the two? If you fall asleep on one side, what if you can't sleep on your back? Well, that's perfect. You can't sleep on your back, then go on your back and start doing mental visualizations to keep yourself more aware. You need to start opening the possibilities and stop making excuses that you can't do it. Because as soon as you start making excuses at anything in life, you start blocking yourself from coming up with ideas which give you the solution to things. And then you start sitting on it, and then what you could have done in like 3 months, you've been moaning about 3 months, saying that you don't know. And of course you don't know. You don't know because you haven't tried it yet. How are you ever supposed to? I don't know how to play the piano right now. Yeah, it doesn't mean I can't. Give me about a week and a piano and YouTube and a good friend who can play the piano, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to play the piano. I'm not going to sit here and say I can't do it, because I know I can. I can do anything if I just take the time. I'm patient, and I understand how I'm learning the fastest ways. So don't doubt yourself with these things. Doubt is like just stupid. It will really ruin everything and anything in life. So just keep that out of the way. So I'm Ryan JC. This is going to be about to do it for this astral projection experience. I'll upload this soon. And yeah. Oh yeah, also expect a podcast at some point. I don't know if a lot of you guys are into podcasts, but I will be doing one soon with a friend of mine, and I'll be putting that on my website. Check out my website below. I'll put the links below. Also, guys, it's a forum. If you have experiences with astral projection, I often reply back to the experiences on astral projection on my forum on my website. The website will be in the links below. Go straight to the Astral Projection Forum and write down your experiences. I want to hear them. I want to start a community, some engagement with kind of thing. On top of that, I've also made a Facebook page. Like that Facebook page, okay? I want that to be my main page, where everyone's going to, spitballing ideas, where everyone's going for updates and regular channel updates on this and between my sites, which I am going to be expanding outside of YouTube. I do not want you guys to miss out. Check that out. I've also got another Facebook page. Type in Ryan Cropper, you'll find one of the Facebook pages, okay? Type in Your Potential and you'll find the second page, okay? Like both of those pages, okay? If you're a fan of my channel and you like to subscribe and listen to these experiences, like both of those pages. I'll put the links to those also below in the description, and they will be given certain types of advices, separate types of advices on both of those pages, okay? And I'll speak to you guys pretty soon.